So you see, Dwayne, we're not originally from here.
You could have fooled me.
We're from a planet called Lagon. Lagon can be symbolized as the sister planet to Earth. We are part of a group called the Sakari Soldiers. Originally, there were 6 of us. We were the chief guardians of the king and queen of our home planet, Lagon.
King and queen. You're kidding me, right?
No, not at all. The king owned something called the Osalis Pearl. It was used and capable of opening portals to other worlds.
It allowed our king and queen to visit other planets without the use of our solar vehicles. It was quick access to allow our planets to get information and goods. The king would give a grant of peace so that we could share and harvest with those who were in need.
We accompanied the king and queen on every journey they made. We protected them every step of the way. However, it wasn't until our chief leader, named Corral, decided that he wanted more. Once he seen the power of the pearl, he plotted against the king and queen and used it for himself. Of course, he couldn't do this alone. He needed our help.
Corral promised us that if we help him overthrow the king and queen, we could use the pearl and conquer and become the leader of any planet we want.
You know, actually sounded good for a minute. You know, being a leader, having slaves, the whole thing. And we decided to take him up on his offer. We helped him destroy the king and the queen of our home planet, and Corral took the pearl for himself. It wasn't long until each of us had a planet to call our own. Well, except myself, Rand, and Zio. The reason why is at the time when we joined the Sakari Soldiers, we were kind of new, so we wasn't truly experienced in our skills.
In 1999, we found Earth. To us, it was the biggest planet ever. Corral wanted this to be our first as a group takeover. That's when Zio, Jared, and I drew the line. We decided we didn't want to take part in meaningless destruction. We liked the way things were before, peaceful. But that didn't settle with Corral too well. There was a huge fight between all of us.
Yeah, and because we lacked in our fighting skills and techniques, we were easily defeated and sprayed with Melician.
What's Melician?
Well, it's something that can knock you out for a good amount of time. Think of it like suspended animation or cryo freeze.
It wasn't until the beginning of this year that Melician wore off. When we woke up, there was no one here but us.
That's why when we heard your portal open up, we thought it was Corral again.
Okay, look. First of all, your story to me is just that, a story. You know? I mean, something you can read about in sci-fi magazines. Second, if you guys really are who you say you are, I mean, how come you're not dressed in funny clothes? How come you're not talking in a different language or something? Isn't that what's supposed to happen when people come from different worlds? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the laser gun thing did startle me for a minute, but the other stuff? I mean, come on.
Well, that time portal you created, that shows that anything is possible. That shows that could make you a believer. What else do you need?
Yeah, alright. Well, my wife and I started the process. I mean, well, more so her idea than mine, you know. She wanted to present it to Congress. To let them know that it was possible to travel through time. That the great H.G. Wells wasn't crazy, but a genius. And that if we can enhance on the ideas of fantasy to reality, we could stop whatever it was that destroyed our people. We could go back in time and stop it where it started. I guess this Corral guy showed up at the wrong place at the right time, huh?
We're really sorry, Dwayne.
There are many videos and images of your life, history, culture. A lot can be learned from a small amount of time. And as far as clothes, well, we had to blend in like Earthlings somehow. And your shopping mall was just the way to go.
Well, you have to remember, Dwayne, our culture and our way of life on Lagon was way, way more advanced than what you have here on Earth. Have to admit, though, you Earthlings really know how to keep up the trends.
Okay. Now, you did mention there are 3 of you. I think you mentioned his name was, Zio, I think. What happened to him?
I'm afraid before we were put into suspended animation, Zio managed to free himself from the hands of Pharrell and the others. But later, he was found and killed by all of them. He gave this to me before he fled. I managed to keep it hidden away from Corral.
What's that?
That is called a trilogon. It's what gives us our powers. It enables us to optimize our optic energy and transform into Sakari Soldiers.
Okay, guys, I think I have an idea. If I can somehow calibrate the time sequence and get us back to 1999 when Corral first arrived, you think you guys can help me defeat him? What's so funny?
Wait a minute. So, was that your intention? To go back in time to stop Corral and the others? If you were to do that, and for us for that matter, we would be toast.
How do you know?
Well, for one, why do you think me and Rand are out here in the middle of nowhere? We're training. By the time when we joined the Sakari Soldiers, we were the most inexperienced of the group. Corral and the others have far more experience than we have.
We're trying to surpass their level of skills. So when the time is right, we'll be ready.
Okay, but it's just the two of you, right? Why don't you train me? I could take Zio's place. I could help.
Well, no offense, Dwayne, but I don't think that these powers are something an Earthling can handle.
Hey, look, if you guys train hard enough to surpass Corral's level, I mean, how are you planning on getting to him? I mean, what are you guys just gonna just wait here until you came back again? What if that never happened?
Corral's intentions for this planet was to make it his home base of operations and also to harvest slaves for to do his bidding. The original plan was to use your people as the main start to have under his command at first. However, there was one thing he didn't count on, is that your people were extremely vigilant. However, that is also the very reason why your people were destroyed. However, that hasn't deterred him from making this planet his own. He will return.
Well, how do you know that, though?
Well, look at it this way. Your planet is very resourceful than ours. I mean, look around you, Dwayne. The planet is already rebuilding itself.
Yeah, by nature. But we need human beings to rebuild everything else, you know? Buildings, libraries, schools, stores, you know? Look, the question is, if you guys can help me become a Sakari warrior, soldier, whatever it is, I'll help you take down Corral and the others. Deal?
This Sakari soldier.
Deal.